Hello everybody, we're in Chazy tonight. It's December 28th. It's the holiday tournament in Chazy. It's Seton Catholic Knights against the Chazy Eagles. Earlier tonight, Northeastern Clinton beat Lake Placid by a very large margin, 90-29. This is the second game of the evening. Hello everybody, I'm Joey Trombley. On camera is Calvin Castine, and we're here tonight to call tonight's action. Chazy will start with number 25, Kenny Blair, jumping for Chazy. Out there is Matt Osher, Andy Goodwin, Corey Lewis, and Corey Ellis for Chazy. They go into their 2-3 zone, brought to Chazy by Coach Rob Guerin, which they've been playing throughout the season. Chazy comes into this game with a 5-1 record. They won the first two games down in Willsboro Shootout, the beginning of the year tournament, and Chazy beat Osable Valley and the Mariah Vikings to go 2-0. Then in league play, they won 3 straight before they ventured down to Elizabethtown Lewis last week before Christmas. It was a battle of two unbeaten teams. E-Town came to the game undefeated. It was their first home game of the season. Chazy ventured down into E-Town with a 5-0 record, and Elizabethtown came away with that victory 49-36. It was a well-played game by both teams. Every shot was contested. The score was a lot closer than the score would have indicated. Chazy missed a lot of shots inside. They had a lot of looks. The shots weren't dropping, and the better team that night was Elizabethtown, and they do knock off Chazy. So Chazy is 5-1 in total play. League play, they're 3-1, but 5-1 overall. And right now we're in the first quarter, and Lewis just drains a 3-pointer over the Seton zone and gives Chazy a 3-0 lead. And right now for Seton Catholic, you have number 10, Bauer, throws it into Murnane. Murnane goes in hard to the hoop, and he breaks the 2-3 zone to make the first bucket for Seton Catholic. Chazy with a 3-2 lead. Seton doing a full court press right now. Lewis gets it over to Ellis. Ellis up to Goodwin. Goodwin over to Kenny Blair, and it's taken away by number 20, Davis. Josh Davis at the top of the key. He'll let a 3-pointer go. They go for the rebound, and Lewis gets the ball all the way to Ellis. Ellis will try to get a layup, and the ball is knocked away. A good defensive play by number 20, Josh Davis. He hustled back, beat Corey Ellis going in for a layup. Chazy ball underneath with Goodwin, taking the ball out for Chazy. Out to Ellis. Ellis takes a 3-pointer, and they go for the rebound, and it will be knocked out by Seton, and Chazy will regain control. Goodwin will take the ball out underneath, with Chazy setting up on the offensive play. Ball goes into Blair. Blair to Goodwin. Goodwin makes a move, takes the shot, and rebound number 31, Sean Carroll. Carroll comes up on the left side to number 30, Jim Akey. Akey over to Kirby, and Kirby back to Davis. Davis to Kirby. Kirby inside to number 30. Jim Akey is knocked out of bounds, and it will go to Seton. Chazy with a 3-2 lead. We're 2 minutes into the first quarter, with Davis taking the ball out over to Kirby. Kirby looks over to left, goes inside to number 30, Akey. Akey out to Carroll, back to Davis. Davis at the top of the key, inside to number 30, the shot up. Rebound Kenny Blair, he skies, gets it over to Lewis. Lewis pushes it up to Matt Osher, back to Lewis. Lewis at the top of the key, and Seton is into a 2-3 zone, it looks like. And the ball is knocked away from Kenny Blair and controlled by Seton Catholic, and it looks like number 21, Neil Kirby with the ball, gives it back to Josh Davis. On the right side, you have Carroll, who gets the ball back to Davis, over to Kirby. Kirby being guarded by Osher, and it's back to the top of the key. Chazy playing a 2-3 zone. Ball goes into Murnane. Murnane's a big kid inside. Tries to push it over to number 30, and it was knocked away. And rebound, Kenny Blair over to Lewis. Lewis coming up the court on the left side, goes back to the center of the court, makes a deke, looking over, and he has Osher. Osher goes on the right side inside to Kenny Blair, back out to Lewis. Lewis will take the 3-pointer, and it's Lewis with another 3 points. Lewis has all 6 points for Chazy with 2 3-pointers. Chazy leads the game 6-2, with Davis taking the ball up for Chazy. He gets it into Murnane. They key in on him. Murnane throws up a wild shot, but it finds its way off the backboard, and it's 6-4 Chazy. Pressure by Seton. Ball goes up over to Ellis. Ellis being guarded by Murnane. Ellis sends it back to Lewis. Lewis at the top of the key. Chazy moving around on the offensive end. Lewis calling directions. He'll look left side, but goes right over to Osher. Back to Lewis. Lewis back to Osher. Osher inside to Gooden. Back to Lewis. Lewis with the hot hand. Hits another three-pointer. Corey Lewis has 3 3-pointers. Chazy has a 9-4 lead, and we're halfway through the first quarter here in Chazy at the holiday tournament between Seton and Chazy. Chazy with a 9-4 lead. Seton on the offensive end, and number 21, Kirby takes a shot up, but Lewis with the rebound. Cross half court over to Ellis. Ellis will take the shot. Ellis in and out, and it goes off of Osher. And yes, it will be Seton ball. Ellis took a nice shot, came in and out, and the ball goes off of Osher, and it will go over to Seton Catholic. And Akey gets the ball in over to Davis. Davis slowly brings it up the court, crosses the center line. He goes back over to Kirby. Kirby back to Davis. Davis goes right side over to 31 Carroll. Davis will look to drive. He does. Kenny Blair. Nice play by Kenny Blair off of Pat Murnane's hands. Chazy ball with Andy Goodwin taking it out for Chazy. There's a press by Seton. It's a man-to-man press right now. They're looking to double up on Lewis. He pushes all the way up to Osher. Osher will take the 3 off the rim and rebound by number 20, Davis. Davis running up the court, looking to find somebody underneath, and he slows it back up, and it goes over to Sean Carroll. Carroll looks in. He tries to go inside to Akey. He does. They're trying to find Murnane, but Lewis has the ball. Some nice moves by Lewis. Controls, spins, out of control. Corey Lewis totally out of control, but makes the ball, or makes the basket. He'll get 2, and he'll get another chance for an old-fashioned three-point play, Calvin.
Apparently it wasn't totally out of control, maybe 98%, and the other 2% was enough to get that ball in.
Well, as we know, Corey Ellis is a very athletic player, and
Corey Lewis.
And Corey Lewis, but Lewis is the one that made it. And I will, before the season's over with, Calvin, I will get this straight, and I won't mix them up. Trombley is in for Osher right now. And Lewis misses the old-fashioned three-point play, but Kenny Blair goes up, but it's knocked away. Here they come, Murnane. Trombley trying to hold him back. 20 into Murnane. Murnane, ball's knocked away. And Lewis knocks it off Seton player, and it goes to Chazy. Goodwin with the ball. He gets it over to Lewis. Seton is into a zone press right now. They're looking to double up on Lewis. Quits his dribble, gets it to Ellis. Ellis over to Blair, over to Goodwin. Chazy broke the press very well on that play, Calvin.
Yes, they did. They looked at the floor and didn't panic and passed around the zone.
Well, we're back to the action here. Carroll with the ball inside. And they call the first foul on Kenny Blair. Kenny Blair gets called for his first foul tonight. And it will be Seton that's taking the ball out underneath. Trying to find Murnane inside, but they go out to Kirby. Kirby inside to Murnane. And Murnane powers his way up for 2 more. Murnane has 4 of their 6 points. Chazy with 11-6 lead with 2 minutes to go here in the first quarter. And Ellis on the left-hand side crosses the center line. Tries to get it to Kenny Blair. Blair saves it from going out. And throws it away, and it goes over to Seton, and they will come in. And Lewis with the ball. He comes out of the pack. He's coming all the way. And Lewis was blocked by number 20, Josh Davis. Good defensive play by Davis. The ball will go to Chazy underneath their offensive end. Substitution for Seton Catholic, number 12, Casey Locken coming in, and 21, Neil Kirby out. Kenny Blair fakes out Trombley and hits him in the head with the ball, and the ball goes over to Seton. Seton with the ball right now, number 20, Josh Davis. Calvin, when you're out there, you got to be ready for that ball at any time, don't you think?
He was going for the rebound.
And Andy Gay calls the foul on Andy Goodwin. Andy Goodwin picks up his first foul in today's game. And to the line is Pat Murnane. Pat Murnane will go to the line for 2 shots. And he hits the front end of the rim. And number 10, William Bauer, is into the game. And Josh Davis is out. Bauer in, Davis out. Murnane taking his second shot of 2 shots. And he hits the front of the rim again, and Lewis grabs the rebound. Lewis runs the court. He's got Ellis on the left side, Trombley at the point. Trombley moves wide right. He goes over to Ellis. Ellis back to Lewis. Lewis fakes to Trombley. Seton is into their zone defense. Lewis back to Ellis. Ellis inside to Goodwin. Goodwin blocked by Murnane and controlled by Seton. Number 12, it would be locking with the ball, and it's now at the point to number 31, Sean Carroll. Sherrill goes on the right side. Carroll, top of the key. Chazy in their 2-3 zone. Inside to Murnane, but knocked away by Ellis. And the ball is controlled by Kenny Boyer. Kenny Boyer gets it over to Lewis. 36 seconds left here in the first quarter. Chazy with a 5-point lead, 11-6. Ellis loads up, and Ellis hits a 3-pointer, and it's 14-6 Chazy with 25 seconds to go. Chazy in their 2-3 zone, and you have 31 Sean Carroll bringing it up the court. Carroll grab right side, goes over to the point, back to Carroll. They're looking for the last shot here, down 14-6. They're waiting for the clock to come down. Chazy in their 2-3 zone. Lewis trying to guard number 30 underneath Akey. And here they go, 3 seconds, the shot's up. And beautiful, beautiful strategy from Seton at the end there, Calvin. They held the ball to the end. And Sean Carroll nailed a 3-pointer at the buzzer.
Yeah, no matter if you're behind, you still want to get that last shot and not give the other team a chance to put in a couple more points. So worked out for Seton, and it's a 5-point game instead of an 8-point game.
Exactly. Well coached there at the end of the first quarter. Chazy, the big gun for Chazy in the first quarter was Corey Lewis. He had 3 3-pointers, and he had a bucket underneath where he got fouled. He missed out on the old-fashioned 3-point play, as we like to call it. Back in the old days, we never had 3-point lines in the days we played, Calvin.
No, that was something that came around about, I'd say, probably 86 or 87. I think 87 that year there, 87, 88 school year, I think.
Well, that really changed the complexion of the game when that came out, because, boy, now it forced the defensive players to go out to guard the players on the outside.
Yeah, I used to be able to get your zone would be right in that where that circle is, right where that arc is, and you could run a pretty good zone right in there, because a guy taking that long shot is only 2 points. So instead of taking a 20-footer, you try to get a 12 or 15-footer. Now, because you get 3 for it, you're more likely to take it, and the zone's going to be out there and defend against it.
Well, back in our day, too, we also didn't have the shot clock. So you had the famous four-corner offense of the North Carolina Tarpons. Remember that with, who was their coach back then for North Carolina?
Dean Smith.
Dean Smith. Remember the four-corner offense?
Yeah.
When there were no shot clocks around. When did the shot clock come into play?
That was in the 90s. I remember in the early 90s when Rick Frisbee was very early 90s, probably. Yeah, it had to be very early 90s because Orville coached most of the 90s for the Cougars. When Rick Frisbee was coaching at Northeastern, they did a slowdown against PHS and barely nearly beat a team that was twice as good as them.
Yeah, I mean, that was a strategy back then, but the shot clock changed the complexion of the game as well as the 3-point shot. And it's a totally different game than it was back in the 70s and 80s when we were, well, you're probably even in the 60s back then, but for me in the 70s, it was a different game back then. But right now, Chazy has a 7-point lead, as Calvin and I were kind of going back and forth here. Kenny Boyer made a shot on the baseline, and it's 16-9 Chazy. And the ball goes into Murnane. And they will call a foul on Kenny Boyer on that. I kind of thought it was a lot of ball, but there must have been a little bit of hand there too. And it's the second foul. And Joey Bradley will come in for Kenny Boyer, which is normally the case if Kenny gets more than one foul in the first half. And he'll take a little breather. And Joey Bradley getting ready to check into the game for Chazy. Number 12, that would have been Luckin, who originally had the ball, but the ball goes to Lewis. Lewis coming up, running the floor. Chazy runs the floor with him. Seton gets back very quickly on defense. And it's over to Ellis. Ellis is back deep. hits Tremblay, who tries to hit Goodwin. It's off Goodwin's hands, and Tremblay intercepts the long pass, bounces it over to Lewis. Lewis coming down the court, and now Lewis will look left. He is being guarded by number 10, Bauer. Bauer staying on Lewis. It was almost like they have a box and one on Lewis right now. And Ellis tried to get Goodwin, but it's intercepted by 31, Sean Carroll. Sean Carroll slowly brings the ball up the court. Seton's not panicking at this point, Calvin.
No, it's a long game. It's only a 7-point difference, and that's easily made up over another 16 to 20 minutes.
That's for sure. Well, just like that, as we're talking, Pat Murnane hits a baseline jumper and cuts the lead to 5. Chazy with a 5-point lead with Corey Ellis with the ball, hits Tremblay at the top of the key. Tremblay bounces it over to Ellis. Ellis on the right side goes back to Lewis to Ellis. Ellis, nothing but net. Good hustle by Kenny Blair to keep it in, but it goes to number 31, Sean Carroll. Carroll comes to the right side, and he hits it over to number 10, Bauer. Bauer to Carroll, over to Luckin. Luckin into Murnane, back to Sean Carroll. He'll take the three-pointer. And rebound, Tremblay. Tremblay gets the rebound over to Lewis. And Coach Guerin calls for a timeout, and we'll be back in just a minute. Well, Calvin, you know, the first game, Northeastern won 90-29. I'm guessing the two scores combined won't see 90 points in this game.
Six-man offense here. Got the six-man offense. Okay, Lewis comes off.
I don't think he expected to be off. Didn't know what took place there. But Goodwin's got the ball. A little confusion taking place. Kenny Blair out to Ellis. Ellis lets the shot up. Rebound Murnane. Murnane dribbles up and hits it over to Carroll. Chazy working their 2-3 zone. It's over to Bauer. Bauer back to Carroll. Over to Kirby. Kirby looking to move around. Gets it into Murnane. He'll take it in, and he had to get fouled on that. There were only 3 people on him. Who's going to be the lucky candidate for the foul here? 20, Andy Goodwin. Andy Goodwin picks up his second foul. Goodwin has 2. Kenny Blair has 2 fouls here. In the second quarter, there's 4 minutes and 59 seconds to go here into second quarter. And Goodwin picks up his second foul, and Murnane makes the free throw. And the score is now 16-12 Chazy. Chazy has led throughout this game, at least for the first quarter and a half. But like you said, Calvin, it's a long way from over. It's only a 4-point game.
Yeah, and if the Eagles are going to win this, I think they're going to have to find a way to neutralize Murnane. They can't stop him one-on-one. He's too big.
And he's penetrating that 2-3 zone right now, so I'm not sure what they're going to do, because playing man-to-man is not going to do it, that's for sure. And we have a jump ball, and it will be in Seton's favor. Pat Murnane made his free throw there, so it's 16-13 here in the second quarter. Chazy with a 3-point lead. They're in the 2-3 zone. And Sean Carroll bringing the ball up for Seton. He goes over to Davis. Davis over to Kirby. Back to Davis. Davis over to Carroll. Carroll hits Kirby going to the opposite side. Into Murnane. Murnane back out to Davis. Tries to find Murnane. And it's off Ellis's hand. And it will be Seton Cat underneath. And Osher back in. Tremblay out. Osher in the game. And inside pass, and as a coach, you hate to see that happen on inside and bound play. Casey Locken makes the basket, and he's fouled.
Well, I think there's a case there, Joey, of they're worried so much about Murnane that it opened up a hole for Locken, and he went right through there.
Yeah, he did. Did you find out who got the foul? I didn't pick up on that. But just like that, it's 16-16, and Chazy's 7-point lead is now no lead. It's tied at 16. Seton Catholic has ran off 7 straight points, and Lewis is over and back, and Seton now has their first opportunity to take the first lead of the game.
What was it, 14-6 at one point?
14-6 and 16-9, that's right. So 7 and 8-point leads have now turned into a tie game, with Seton having a wonderful opportunity to take the lead for the first time. And you have Luckin over out to in and out. It was that close, but Josh Davis's ball came out of the bucket, in and out. Ellis with the ball. He gets it over to Lewis. And we got a little box and one here. with Kirby having the duties of trying to guard Lewis. Rebound Joey Bradley. It should be Chazy ball, and it is. Big rebound by Joey Bradley. It was contested, so Chazy will take the ball out underneath with Andy Goodwin. Goodwin trying to find somebody. He gets Osher back to Goodwin. Goodwin makes a nice move. Rebound goes up, and it will stay with Chazy. 3 minutes and 34 seconds to go here in the second quarter. We're tied at 16 at the holiday tournament in Chazy on the 28th day of December. Lewis with the ball back out to Osher. Osher inside to Goodwin. Goodwin out to Ellis. Ellis lets a three-pointer go, and Ellis hits the three-pointer. Corey Ellis just has to be patient out there. If he's patient, his shots will come in the course of a game. He can't force it.
Yeah, wait till he gets an open shot and take it. If people around you, there's always going to be somebody that's open.
Well, Josh Davis ties it back up for Seton. Chazy went ahead by 3 on the Corey Ellis three-pointer, but Davis answered back with a three-pointer of his own. And right now, Lewis is being contested by Neil Kirby. And Lewis took a long three-pointer, and it's knocked out of bounds. The ball will go to Seton with 2 minutes and 51 seconds to go here in the second quarter. And you have Sean Carroll taking the ball up for Seton. He goes to his left side to Josh Davis. Davis misses, but good rebound. And Ellis with the ball, or Lewis with the ball, knocked away, rebounded by, or gone to Andy Goodwin, but it's knocked away. Seton with the ball, looking to get the lead for the first time. And Seton's coming close to grabbing that lead, but the balls are just falling in and out for him.
I think eventually they're going to get it.
Well, the way it's going, it looks like they will.
Yeah, Chazy has lost their momentum, and they've been being bothered greatly by the Seton defense.
Well, it's a much more entertaining game than the first game we saw tonight, Calvin. That's for sure. That 90-29 Northeastern beating on Lake Placid.
I was sitting behind some Cougar fans, and they were thoroughly enjoying it, Joey. I don't know what you're talking about.
If you're a Cougar fan, which we obviously are, that's our alma mater, it was enjoyable to watch, but it's a much different game compared to this game when 119 points were scored, and we got 40 here in the second quarter.
I'll speak for yourself for your alma mater. I'm a St. Mary's graduate.
Yes, you go back farther than I do. I'm 6 years in St. Mary's and 6 years at Northeastern, so I'm a tweener, if you will. So right now it's 22-19, a three-point play for Seton Catholic, and like you said, they would grab the lead, and they did. It's 22-19 with 2 minutes and 12 seconds, 10 seconds now, and Ellis takes a long shot, and the fight for the rebound between Matt Osher and Josh Davis, but the shot clock, or the shot arrow, points in Seton's favor, and Seton has a chance to extend their lead. They were down by 8 early in the game. Now they have a 3-point lead here late in the second quarter. And number 21, Neil Kirby, back over to Carroll. Carroll goes over to Davis. Davis inside to Murnane. Murnane back out to Davis. Davis will look inside, but he gets it back to Carroll. Carroll drives over to 21 Kirby. And Lewis goes all the way up to Ellis. Ellis trying to knock it off a Seton player, but it missed everybody completely and goes out of bounds. And Seton will have the ball. And here we are with Sean Carroll with the ball. Over to Kirby. Kirby back to Carroll. Carroll gets it to Davis. Inside to Murnane. And Murnane makes a nice move over Joey Bradley, and it's a 5-point Seton lead. With Lewis taking the ball over center court, over to Ellis. Ellis goes to the right side into Kenny Boyer. Back to Ellis. They have the box of one working, and it goes off to Osher. Gets it over to Ellis. Ellis back inside to Joey Bradley. Bradley tries to go for the shot. He's blocked by Murnane and controlled by Seton. Seton coming down. They could extend this lead. Chazy at one time had a 16-9 lead. Now they're down 24-19, so it's definitely been all Seton here in the last 4 minutes or so. Trying to go cross court, ball knocked away, controlled by Ellis. Ellis coming around with the ball, slows things up, hits Lewis. Lewis being guarded very closely by Kirby. They have a little boxing one working on Corey Lewis right now. 20 seconds to go. And Lewis pushes it over to Osher. Osher goes inside to Bradley. Bradley back to Osher. Osher can hit the three, but he hits the rebound rim. Controlled by Seton. They will definitely take the last shot here. Looking to extend this 5-point lead to 7 or 8 if they can. Davis takes the shot. And the ball will go out of bounds. And the first half comes to an end in Chazy, with Seton with a 5-point lead, leading 24-19. We're back to start the second half here with Seton with a 24-19 game lead here in the game. Calvin was almost a tale of two games. Chazy definitely dominated the first quarter. It was Seton in the second quarter.
Yeah, and in the first part of the game, Corey Lewis hot from the outside helped Chazy get that early lead. But I think it's been Murnane has been the story since then.
Well, we're here in the second half with Trombley with the ball inside to Kenny Boyer, back to Lewis. Lewis looking to make a move, guarded very closely by Kirby. They're playing a boxing one on Lewis after that strong start. Trombley with the ball. Quits his dribble, gets it into Kenny Boyer. He tries to go inside. Not sure what that was. An off-balance shot by Kenny Boyer, and a very smart heads-up play by Sean Carroll to knock it off the Chazy player. Seton will have the ball. They still hold on to a 24-19 lead. We're 30 seconds into the third quarter. And Seton with the 5-point lead, looking to increase that lead on their offensive run here. The first offensive run here in the third quarter. Chazy in their 2-3 zone. They're trying to key on Murnane. Knocked away. And the ball is knocked off of Ellis. Ellis tries to save it, but it goes off Ellis. And it will be Seton ball with Sean Carroll taking the ball out for Seton, and he'll hit over to Josh Davis. Davis crosses the center line. Chazy waits in their 2-3 zone, and he goes left side over to Kirby. Kirby to Carroll, and Seton moving the ball very, very well. And Murnane, a beautiful baseline shot. And Murnane had 15 points in the first half. He adds 2 more to it, so Murnane has 17 points. They just have not been able to control Murnane right now, Calvin.
And when he hits from the outside like that, that makes it that much tougher, Joey.
Yeah, I mean, you try to stop him inside, he's powerful. You think you can give him that 15-footer, and he drills it. It makes it very, very difficult. So Chazy's going to have to figure out how to stop Murnane and try to score some buckets here. Ellis lets the shot go, and he doesn't hit it. And it is Josh Davis coming off over to the right side of Carroll. Carroll tries to hit Murnane, and Lewis made a nice athletic play, but it's out of bounds on Lewis. And it will be Seton ball. And three-pointer. And he'll go to the line for 3 if I'm not mistaken. Andy Goodwin picks up a foul. 3 shots. It is 3 shots. And it looks like Kyle Reynolds will be going in for Andy Goodwin. That's Goodwin's 3rd foul here in this game. Early in the third quarter. And Sean Carroll makes the first shot. And he increases the Seton lead to 27-19. Seton with an 8-point lead, looking to increase it to 9 points. And he does. And he can even increase it to 10 points. He has 3 shots. He was fouled on Goodwin, past the 3-point arc. Kyle Reynolds into the game for Andy Goodwin. Seton with a 9-point lead. And he gets the roll. Sean Carroll makes all 3 free throws, just as good as a 3-pointer. And he increases that Seton lead to 10. They had a 5-point lead at the half. It's now increased to 10 points. They've scored the first 5 points here in the third quarter. Trombley tried to hit Kenny Boyer, but it was a wide pass controlled by Seton and Sean Carroll. And at this point, Seton is definitely in control of this game, Calvin.
Yes, again, thinking back to when it was 14-6. Since then, the Eagles have been outscored 26-5.
Well, as we were talking, Josh Davis drills a three-pointer, and that's 8 straight points here in the third quarter for Seton, and they increase that lead to 13 points, and we'll be back in a minute. Evan Green has come into the game for Galen Trombley, and Lewis has the ball, looking to try to get Chazy into some offensive flow here. Other than the hot hand for Lewis early in the game, Chazy's been non-existent on the offensive floor. And Evan Green tries to hit Ellis, and it's taken away from Sean Carroll, and it goes to Davis, to left side of Kirby. Kirby fakes a three-pointer, tries to go to Murnane. Kyle Reynolds gets the intercepts it, hits Lewis, goes left side to Ellis. Ellis, the ball is knocked off, and it is Carroll coming up the floor for Seton, and number 12 in the game, Casey Luckin. Kirby over to Davis. Davis inside to Luckin, inside to Murnane, and Murnane gets another 2. He's up to like 19, 20 points so far, and it's a 10 straight points here in the third quarter for Seton. Not the start that Coach Guerin wanted to see for his club here, and Chazy is down by 15. Evan Green misses the shot, saves the ball from going out, over to Ellis, and Ellis hits a three-pointer, and Chazy needed that, and he cuts the Seton lead to 12 with about 4 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Halfway through the third quarter, 12-point Seton lead. Davis at the top of the key, over to inside to Murnane. Murnane out to Kirby, back to Carroll. Carroll take his three-pointer, and Evan Green is knocked down. It looks like number 31, Sean Carroll. It is Sean Carroll called for the foul. Chazy will get the ball on the sideline. Calvin, they could use another 2 or 3 points on this trip down the floor.
They could use 2 or 3 points, several more trips down the floor.
Well, we'll see if they can do it. Ellis with the ball over to Evan Green. Green inside. Kyle Reynolds back out to Ellis. Good defensive boxing out by Seton, and a rebound by Carroll. They try to hit Murnane, and Murnane knocked away by Kyle Reynolds. It's not too often Murnane is rejected, but Kyle Reynolds got up there and rejected Pat Murnane.
Well, you got him with the ball going up. If Murnane had the ball all the way up there, he couldn't have blocked it.
Well, we know that, but we got to give credit where credit is due. You know, how often do you block a guy who scored 20 points in a game?
Well, that's it. You got to get it. You got to hit the ball while you can.
Exactly. Make the most of your opportunities. And rebound, Kenny Boyer. Over to Kyle Reynolds. Reynolds back to Kenny Boyer. Inside Evan Green. Green back to Kyle Reynolds. Reynolds off the glass, and rebound Murnane. Murnane clears the boards, and he gives it over to Sean Carroll. Carroll back to Davis. Davis at the top of the key goes left over to Kirby. Kirby being guarded by Ellis. Kirby with the ball over to, and well, knocked away. Lewis over to Ellis. Ellis goes up, and he's fouled for 2. He can cut the lead to 10. 2-1. It was Neil Kirby called for the foul, and Corey Ellis going to the line for 2. Makes the first one. And a couple subs coming in for Seton. Number 10, William Bauer, and 30, Josh Davis back into the game, and Murnane will get a little break. Coach Converse figures with 11-point lead, 2 minutes and 40 seconds in the third quarter. Give Murnane a little breather. Probably a good move on Converse part, Calvin.
Yeah, he'll have him back there probably before the period's over even. Him a rest.
Well, Ellis makes both free throws, and it's now a 10-point Seton lead. And they needed that. They were down by 15, so they're chipping away. They need to chip away a little bit more going into the fourth quarter if they want to have any chance to win this game. Davis with the ball wide open, inside to 30. Good defense from Chazy. Evan Green gets it over to Lewis. Lewis underneath to Kenny Boyer. Nice no-look pass from Corey Lewis to Kenny Boyer.
This is when Chazy has to make their run with Murnane on the bench.
That is for sure. They got to play it tough. And boy, Josh Davis answered with a three-pointer. And it's an 11-point lead. Chazy cut it to 8, but Josh Davis answered with a big three-pointer. And it's Evan Green takes the shot and rebounded by Seton Catholic with Josh Davis with the ball. And Davis comes right down again, takes another one. He felt he has the hot hand, so he let the second three-pointer go. And he gets it over to the right side to Carroll. Carroll inside to 30 to Akey, back to Carroll. And the ball will go to Chazy. And Matt Osher in for Evan Green. Evan Green coming off, and Matt Osher back in. We have 1:27 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Seton with an 11-point lead. And Lewis bringing the ball up for Chazy right now. He crosses the line over to Osher. Osher over to Ellis. Ellis back to Osher. Osher inside to Kyle Reynolds. And George Dyer says it's a kick. And it will be Chazy on the side here, taking the ball out. 1:11 seconds to go here in the third quarter.
The Seton defense is more of a diamond in one than a box in one. If you watch the men around the paint, they're forming a diamond rather than, and that's what I always preferred rather than a box in one. Diamond in one gives you better coverage in that middle. Doesn't leave the middle so wide open.
Earlier it was a box in one, wasn't it? At least it looked like it.
In the first half it was, but I think what the coach did was just change it so the Eagles wouldn't be able to exploit the box in one. Let them look at that for a while. Don't give them a diamond in one. Give them something different to look at.
Yep, that's good coaching when you can mix up the defense like that. Because you can play a game, get very settled into what they're doing and kind of get into a routine. And you mix it up, you can mix it up for the offensive players. When they see something different, it can screw them up. But a good hustle by Corey Ellis. But Seton comes roaring back themselves. And Carroll with the ball, being guarded by Osher. He goes over to number 10, that would be Bauer. Bauer goes to the left side to Davis. Goes to the right side, it looks like Carroll. Rebound Lewis. Lewis with the ball. Chazy has some numbers. And Lewis loses the ball. I think he tried to hit Ellis on the right side, but it slipped out of his hands.
Yeah, Chazy needed that trip down the floor. They needed to cut this down, even if they only ended up taking that one shot. But the shot clock was on their side. They didn't have to shoot.
Well, you know that Seton's going to wait for their last shot. And they're going to take that 9-point lead and maybe more into the fourth quarter. Down to 3. Davis will take it. And Chazy will go into the fourth quarter trailing 9 points, 37, or 8 points. No, 9 points, 37 to 28, going into the fourth quarter.
Let's watch the cheerleaders. Joey, you've been calling this a tournament, but it's not really a tournament because before the first game was played, everybody knew who they were playing tomorrow night.
Well, I mean, it's a shootout, I guess. I'm not sure what you call it when they seem to have that now in these holiday tournaments or whatever you want to call them. You almost know who you're playing. It's not like the winners play each other. Long pass. Ellis goes up for 2 and he gets fouled. Nice long pass, but he hesitated. But he does get the foul shots. He can cut the lead to 7.
I could see last year when Willsboro was in this, you had 2 MVAC schools and 2 CVAC schools, so you wanted both sides to get a shot at playing somebody from the other division, the other league. But there's 3 CVACs in today, so they could have very easily gone to a regular tournament. And as it turns out, it's the same as last year. The two teams that win on the opening night looks like they'll be playing each other tomorrow night.
Well, you know,
Seton hangs on.
Right, that's true. But you know, it would be nice with Northeastern and Chazy being the towns so close together that they would have played this weekend in the tournament. But it's not meant to be. Chazy will play Lake Placid tomorrow night, and Northeastern will play Seton. But it would have been nice seeing Chazy and Northeastern play.
I think it should have happened, and I hope next year that it goes back to last year where Northeastern and Chazy were able to face each other.
Well, you know, I mean, everybody figured last year that Northeastern would wallop Chazy, and Chazy upset them last year in this tournament. And you never know what happens when you get on a basketball court.
That's why they play the game.
Well, Chazy can cut this lead down. Tremblay goes for the three-pointer. Good one, good rebound, good one. Ellis will take the three. And Chazy misses 2 3-pointers. And it was almost like a frustration foul on Corey Ellis there after missing the three-pointer. And it will be Seton ball. Chazy had a couple chances there to cut the lead to 4.
They got it down to 7. It's still not out of the question.
No, but I got a feeling that the Seton boys are going to be working back into Murnane here very soon, get him back in the flow in the game. And he's got over 20 points. He's a big factor why there's a Seton lead right now. There you are inside the Murnane. Murnane goes inside to number 30. Akey was hammered by Corey Ellis. Or Corey Lewis, I should say. Corey Lewis hammers number 30, Jim Akey. So Akey will go to the line for 2.
Another case of the defense collapsing on Murnane, and Murnane looking for the open man.
And the first shot is good. Just shows you how effective a big, tall guy that's coordinated underneath in high school basketball can affect the ball game.
Yeah, if you can't match up with him, it's a big factor.
Well, it's back to a 9-point lead. We're approaching the 6-minute, 30-second mark. It is Corey Lewis to Ellis. Ellis to Lewis. Lewis over to Tremblay. Tremblay into Kenny Boyer. Kenny Boyer over to Ellis. Ellis being guarded. Ellis over to Tremblay. Back to Ellis. Ellis shot up. You know, you win by the 3, you lose by the 3. And Kirby will get 2 here. You could see that happening. Nice pass. That would have been Sean. That was Kirby or Carroll? That would have been Carroll. Sean Carroll. And it's an 11-point Seton lead. Tremblay with the ball. Over to Ellis. Ellis back to Tremblay. Tremblay bounced it over to Lewis. Lewis being double teamed, trying to get through. And 3-1, and that would be Sean Carroll called for the foul on Corey Lewis.
Anytime you have a zone and a box and one or a diamond and one is definitely a predominantly zone, you got to set up your offense to be in the middle of where the defensive players are, and I think the Chazy team should be looking at putting somebody in that high post and forcing more of that defense to concentrate in the middle and open up the wings a little bit.
We'll see if they pick up on that here very shortly. But it is number 10, Bauer, over to 30. And Jim Akey drains it. 13-point lead. Chazy's got to do something soon if they have any chance of trying to win this game, Calvin.
Well, I think they've had their chance. They had it down to 7. I can't see them making this big a comeback with less than 5 to go.
Timeout called by Coach Guerin. 4 minutes and 51 seconds to go in the fourth quarter, and Seton Catholic leads 43-30. Chazy ball. Andy Goodwin gets it out to Lewis. Lewis with the ball. Over to Ellis. Ellis is not hitting the threes tonight. Ball not rebounded by Kyle Reynolds, but knocked away by number 21, Sean Carroll. Well, that was Neil Kirby. Sean Carroll with the ball now. He goes to the right side to Bauer. Bauer back to Sean Carroll. Over to Kirby. He tries to push it over to number 30, Akey, but it was knocked out of bounds. Seton ball. I think they're going to be going man-to-man right now. And nice play by Carroll over to Murnane. Murnane's going to go in, knocked down by Kenny Boyer. Ball goes out of bounds. Ball will go to Chazy. Andy Goodwin over to Lewis. Corey Lewis with the ball, pushes it up to Ellis. Ellis with the three-pointer. Ellis follows his shot up. Kyle Reynolds with the ball, back to Lewis. Lewis taking the shot, rebounded Kenny Boyer. Kenny Boyer goes up hard and he's fouled. Kenny Boyer for the line for two. 31, Sean Carroll picks up the foul. Kenny Boyer to the line for two.
Hey, I see Rob Gravel over there, Joey.
Yeah, at halftime, actually, Rob Gravel did show up. He's the SS Seward athletic director, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct. His father Bob over there, I'm sure, is glad to see him over the holidays.
Yeah, it's nice when the local boys can make it home for the holidays, and he's had a lot of success with his program over at SS Seward in soccer and in basketball.
Yep, it's nice to see Rob doing well, and he did bring that basketball team up here maybe two or three years ago.
It was 2 years ago.
And that was a nice little trip for them, but I'm sure it's a little bit of a hassle to have kids travel that far over the holidays.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, when they did put on a show when they came up here that 2 years ago, because they were a ranked team in the state, and they played like a ranked team in the state.
Yeah, there was no question when they stepped on that floor that this was a good ball club.
Yeah, it was definitely a humbling experience for the basketball team 2 years ago, because Seward did stick it to them pretty bad back then, if I remember right.
Yep, and of course that school, that's named after the Seward of Seward's Folly from back in the United States, Bot, Alaska, during the days of Abraham Lincoln.
Calvin, are you sure you aren't a history teacher? That's some great knowledge. I never knew that.
That's the same SS Seward.
Well, the same SS Seward played our Chazy girls in the state semifinals this year in soccer, where our Chazy girls won that game 3-0. As you know, made it to the state finals, lost to a very strong Arkport team, with two very similar teams, but Arkport was the better team that day. And Kenny Boyer makes the free throw, and it's now a 11-point game, and there is full court pressure. Coach Guerin has them on full court pressure, trying to mix things up here a little bit. And they aren't man-to-man yet, or are they? Yeah, they are man-to-man right now, and that's what they need to be doing. Renane's way out. That's a good place for him. Carroll gets the ball, but they're very well coached. They're working the shot clock down, Calvin.
Yep, time's on their side, and they'll use up as much of that time as they can.
And Lewis hits a big three-pointer. It cuts the lead to 8. Full court pressure. We were talking about that at the break, and sure enough, Coach Guerin has them out on full court pressure. And you can disrupt some teams when you do that. And Coach Conover says, let's talk this over.
Well, not only does it disrupt the other team, but it gets your team in the game. I think a team that likes to run the way Chazy does should play wall-to-wall basketball. They should start their offense right here on defense.
And especially when you're down 12 points going into the fourth quarter, you got to mix it up. You got to force some turnovers. And like you say, you got to, I guess, kind of escape that 2-3 zone and go into a man-to-man defense and try to mix things up a little bit.
Yeah, obviously the 2-3 zone has not been effective against Seton Catholic, so you go with what's working, and if it's not working, you got to have a plan B or a plan C. And we'll see if Chazy, once Seton breaks that press, if they fall back, still stay in that 2-3 zone.
Well, the big factor for Seton Catholic has been Pat Murnane. He's a big guy underneath. and he's definitely figured out the 2-3 zone. 20-plus points tonight. Seton with an 8-point lead. Chazy needs to have a stop here on the defensive end if they want to get back in this game.
Okay, we'll see what the Seton coach told his charges here.
All right, we'll see what the timeout did for him. And Davis gets it over to 30. Akey back to Davis, being guarded by Kenny Blair. Kirby will take the shot, and good ball movement from Seton, and they answer with a bucket of their own. It's a 10-point lead. Lewis trying to go to the basket, making the move, and a travel by Lewis. They're setting up for the press. It's almost like a zone press. And here they come. And Corey Ellis called for the foul. And Seton looking to increase their lead. And they do. It's a 12-point lead. Seton has the lead back up. Chazy will make a little run to get caught up, and then Seton comes back and extends the lead. Davis with the ball, being guarded by Lewis. Inside to Murnane. Murnane will take it to the hoop. They have no answer for Murnane, and it's a 14-point Seton lead. I'll tell you, Calvin, I was a little surprised. I thought the game would be a lot closer tonight than what we're seeing.
Yeah, and if you looked at the first few minutes, you would have thought that if there was a 9-point difference or 11-point difference right now, it would be Chazy's lead.
Well, whatever press Chazy has going, Seton has figured it out, and they've breaking it pretty well. It's a 13-point Seton lead now. Kenny Blair out too. Oh, that's a travel on Osher. Well, the Chazy, after going 5-0, will drop 2 games in a row with A-Town and now Seton. And hopefully tomorrow against Lake Placid, they can turn it around, get back on the winning track.
The way Lake Placid looked tonight, Chazy should be able to defeat them.
Well, was Lake Placid that bad, or is Northeastern that good?
Well, Northeastern has lost a couple of games. I think they've lost 3 in the league, so they've had their ups and downs.
But you know, it's a long season, and what really matters is what happens at the end of February, early March.
Yep. We look back to about a month and a half ago. Chazy boys had beaten Elizabethtown during the season, but all that didn't matter when it came to the sectional final.
And when it's all said and done, that's all anybody remembers. They don't remember the regular season most of the time,
right,
unless you have an undefeated season. But for the most part, the season gets you prepared for the playoffs, and what happens in December doesn't matter when the end of February shows up.
That's right. What happened at that playoff time, and people don't really care who won the MVAC or who won the CVAC. They just want to know who the sectional champion was.
And that's especially true in basketball. And it's really exciting in March when they have the sectional championships over at the Plattsburgh State Fieldhouse, and all these top-notch teams from each section comes down. It's a pretty impressive Saturday down there.
Friday it's girls, and Saturday it's boys, and it's a long day, but it's a lot of basketball.
And a lot of good basketball.
In most cases, you get some blowouts, but in most cases the teams are well matched and come up with some good ball games.
Well, Seton's moved the ball well. It's a 15-point lead. And this game will definitely be Seton's game. They'll be playing Northeastern tomorrow anyway. Chazy has a second game. But I had come into this game, the way Chazy had played, I had never figured they'd lose by 15 points to Seton. Just by what I was reading in the paper, it seemed like Seton was struggling in the CVAC. But here they come, and they pretty much manhandle Chazy tonight.
And if Northeastern shows up with the same team that they showed up with tonight, it could be interesting, because although Northeastern played extremely well, they were missing Keithan Johnson, Anthony Changelo, and off the bench, Jonathan McDonald. So they were not at full strength tonight.
Well, we're the December 28th. It's the second game of the holiday tournament in Chazy. First game of the night, Northeastern wallop Lake Placid 90-29. And in this game here, Chazy started out very strong, had an 8-9 point lead, and they end up losing the game 55-40. It was a 15-point loss, and Rob Guerin's got to regroup with these guys for tomorrow's game with Lake Placid.
And we'll be here.
And as Calvin would like to say, that's the way it was on December 28th in beautiful downtown Chazy.